If you think you know the Netherlands, think again. You have absolutely no idea. You see these cute canals and the relaxed vibe and think it's a laid-back utopia? Wrong. I'm about to ruin the Dutch perfect image for you. I've lived here long enough to know that behind those big windows, the ones they never close, is a world of ruthless scheduling, surgical-grade stinginess, and a complete lack of human empathy. This is just my own traumatized local perspective. So before you start typing a 5-page manifesto in the comments, take a deep breath. If you're looking for a hug, go find a tourist. If you want the cold, hard truth, put your feelings in a locker because we're going deep. First, let's talk about the look. Yes, they are tall. Congratulations, you're all giant towers. But let's look at the style. Unlike the UK or the US, where people are obsessed with luxury brands and look at me glam, the Dutch have mastered the art of looking like they've never heard of a designer. The beauty standard here is the invisible face. It's minimal, it's modest, and it's very covered up. If you see someone in a miniskirt and full glam, they're either a tourist or a glitch in the simulation. Here, if you aren't wearing 3 layers of practical linen, you're doing it wrong. And don't think the minimalism stops at their clothes. These people are so economical, it's terrifying. In the winter, they won't turn on the heater, even if there's frost growing on the inside of the windows. They'll just tell you to put on another sweater. And at night, forget lamps. They'll sit in a pitch-black living room with only the blue light of the TV screen, illuminating their faces, like a scene from a horror movie, just to save 3 cents on the electric bill. It's not vibey, it's just extreme Dutch thriftiness. And let's talk about the Dutch no. If you ask for a favor, a discount, or a tiny exception to a rule and they say nee, it's over. Give up. Go home. Once a Dutch person says no, it is officially written into the laws of physics. At that point, only God himself could reverse the flow of time and change that to a yes. There is no negotiating, no pretty please, and no, but I'm a tourist. Their stubbornness is built into the sea walls. Once that door is shut, it's bolted, padlocked, and deleted from the system. Think you can grab a spontaneous coffee with a Dutch person? Think again. You want 10 minutes of their time? You better have requested that 3 months ago in writing. These people don't have friends. They have slots. Their lives are ruled by a digital calendar that is more guarded than the national vault. If you're dying and need a hospital, they'll probably check if there's a gap between their 6 p.m. dinner and their 7 p.m. book reading session. And don't expect a like on your Instagram. The Dutch social media vibe is, I saw your success and I hate it. There is zero support culture here. If they see you making money or living your best life, they don't clap. They look for a way to trip you. But if you're poor and unfortunate, they love you from heart. It's the tall poppy syndrome. If you grow too high, they'll try to prune you back down to sea level. They'll watch your whole story, but a like? That's too much emotional labor. Now, if you want to see a Dutch person actually have a heart attack, change their dinner time. Dinner is at 6 p.m., not 6:05, not 6:15. If the food isn't on the table by the stroke of 6, the world is ending. They love to grumble about the weather, the trains, the price of cheese. But nothing gets them complaining like a change in routine. They are the Olympic champions of being shaky and annoyed about absolutely nothing. Let's talk money, or rather, the lack of it leaving their pockets. The Dutch are so economical, they make cheap look like a luxury. Expect a tikkie for 50 cents because you used one of their tissues. They'll eat one thin slice of bread for lunch, cycle 20 miles to save €2 on a train, and then act like they've won the lottery. If you're looking for empathy, go buy a dog. The Dutch approach emotions like a software update: logical, cold, and slightly glitchy. If you're crying, they'll probably give you a factual explanation of why your tear ducts are working instead of a hug. But watch out. If there's a minor social issue, like a shortage of toilet paper in a public stall, they will turn it into a national crisis. They'll debate it until the Prime Minister has to go on TV to explain the national fiber count. They love a good argument more than they love their own bicycles. But hey, the second that 30-degree sun hits, all the rules go out the window. They'll drop their books, abandon their calendars, and sprint to a terrace to drink like it's their last day on Earth. All right, fine. Before the entire nation tracks down my IP address and sends me a 50-cent tikkie for emotional damage, let me throw them a bone. Because as much as I love to roast their calendar dictatorship, there's a reason I live here. Once you program yourself to their frequency, the Dutch are actually kind of awesome. Let's talk about the good stuff before I get canceled. First up, gezelligheid. There's no direct English translation, but it's an entire lifestyle. It's that exact feeling when the sun hits the canals, the terraces explode, and everyone is just content. For a people who love rules, when they finally do decide to relax, they turn socializing into an art form. No one does a casual sun-drenched afternoon like the Dutch. The vibe is unmatched. If you hate hustle culture, you'll love it here. The Dutch have mastered work-life balance like nobody else. Over time, they don't know her. At 5 p.m. on the dot, laptops close, office lights go off, and work ceases to exist. They believe your job is just a thing you do to fund your actual life. They don't live to work, they work to live, and they guard their personal time like a national treasure. And we have to talk about the infrastructure. It is a literal engineering masterpiece. You can bike absolutely anywhere in this country safely, quickly and for free.
We're in the vibe.
The paths are separate from cars, perfectly paved and completely idiot-proof. It keeps the air clean, keeps everyone fit, and means you never have to deal with the absolute misery of traffic jams or subway delays. It's urban planning perfection. Another massive win? Everyone speaks flawless English. Seriously, you can walk up to a 5-year-old child or a 90-year-old grandmother, speak English, as they will answer you with better grammar than most native speakers. They make it incredibly easy for foreigners to adapt, navigate, and survive here without a massive language barrier. It's a superpower. And finally, we have to talk about how they manage, well, everything. These people are the absolute gods of organization and infrastructure. Half of this country is literally supposed to be underwater, but the Dutch just looked at the ocean and said, no. They built a futuristic system of dams and seawalls that defies gravity. And urban management? Flawless. The trash gets sucked away underground, the trains run like Swiss watches, and the streets are so clean you could eat a stroopwafel off the asphalt. It is peak, high-level competency. If the world were ending, you'd want a Dutch project manager running the bunker. So, what's the verdict? Are the Dutch just misunderstood efficiency geniuses? Or am I right about the grumpy robot vibe? Also, I want to hear your horror stories. Tell me in the comments, and as always, please hit subscribe and smash that like button. See ya!